What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another Fantasy Puck video. It's Chris, and today we are going to be going over our Week 8 preview. And before we get started, guys, leave a comment down below on who the best player on your fantasy team has been so far this season. I gotta say, for me personally, Jack Hughes has just been absolutely lighting it up. I'm absolutely shocked at his shot volume right now. It's actually crazy. He's got more shot volume than Ovi does currently right now, which I would have never thought. But like that's been a pleasant surprise. Hughes definitely for sure, and then Nietzsche's as well has honestly been a league-winning player for me, just given his production and his shot volume as well. So let me know in the comments down below who's been the best player on your team. As always, guys, if you have any fantasy hockey related questions, comments, you just want to be part of our constantly growing community, please check out our Discord. We got a lot of great channels and specific channels for what exactly you're looking for, whether it's trades, whether it's streaming options, whether it's keeper players and keeper leagues and stuff like that. So definitely check out our Discord if you haven't already. As well as, guys, if you're interested in signing up for Prize Picks, they will match your donation, initial deposit, up to $100. So make sure you use code PUCK if you do sign up for Prize Picks, guys. It really helps us out just with future sponsorship and stuff like that. So if you guys are interested in signing up for Prize Picks, make sure that you guys use code PUCK. As well as, guys, thank you to everybody who, if you did donate to our November campaign, thank you so much. It's coming to a conclusion right now. It's the last week of November. And also, leave me like a 1 out of 10 on like the stash. I think I'm like a solid like 6.5, 7. Mike's definitely got me beat if you've seen Mike in his recent videos. So I think Mike's the clear-cut winner if we were having a competition. But I thought I did all right, Anyways, guys, always be sure to follow us on Twitter as well. Lots of fantasy hockey updates weekly. Different players getting shifted around the lineup as well. So check that out. And then if you guys are interested in premium fantasy hockey options, we're constantly adding to our Patreon as well. So definitely check that out if you guys are interested in that. Let's get right into the video, guys. Better schedule this week compared to last week. We had American Thanksgiving last week, so things have kind of opened up a little bit for this week's schedule. The off nights are really the 28th, the 30th, the 2nd, and the 4th, which is the Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. The three main days obviously being the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, which is typically what we see in the NHL schedule. There's 4 teams that have a 4-game schedule this week, and then 2 of those teams, the Sharks and the Oilers, are playing on 2 of the off nights, and then New York, Detroit, and Buffalo are playing on 3 of the off nights this week. So definitely want to target some of those players, which we will be doing. For the worst schedule this week, we have Arizona and Boston. They only play 2 games. A little bit of a break for these teams. It seems like Arizona is always one of the worst teams on the week, or at least it has been in just the past couple weeks here. All right, moving on to our forward streamer options. We've got Kopp, Cousins, Quinn, and Kunin. They all started kind of with a C there. It's really hilarious how that just happened. But so just a little note on these guys. A lot of the players that had really good, or a lot of the teams that had really good schedule this week, some of the players that were available and that I felt that were going to be available to everybody are not the highest quality of players, because a lot of the, like Buffalo, Detroit, a lot of the ownership for those guys' teams are within their top 6, and a lot of those guys are like 50+% owned. So it's difficult to kind of gain exposure, but there are some pretty good options here. Andrew Kopp is one of them. He's had a really slow start in terms of his production. He's only shooting at 8%, which Kopp does this funny thing every second year. He just decides to shoot at half of his shooting percentage, and the following year it almost like doubles. It's very weird. But Kopp's solid. Like, he's sandwiched between Bertuzzi and Raymond. They have a really good schedule this week. He's dual eligible. He's got 11 points in 20 games, which obviously like isn't a lot, but still producing. He doesn't really shoot too much, but he will get you like 2, maybe 3 shots a game. Good exposure, I think. Like, still seeing power play time as well. Hasn't really had a lot of power play points so far. He's only got 1. But again, like, I feel like it's good exposure just because I think Lucas Raymond and Tyler Bertuzzi, who are his 2 line mates, are really starting to come around in terms of their production as well. And they've kind of had a slow start to start their year off as well, too. So Detroit kind of needs to get going here. And I think Kopp is a good option for this week simply because he's flexible. You can fit him into the lineup. You're going to get him in at least 3 times this week. And he's got good line mates around him as well. So I'm be really satisfied if I had Kopp for this week. Another option for you guys is Dylan Cousins. If Kopp's taken for whatever reason, Cousins is another good option. Been producing a lot lately. I believe he's got 11 points already. And, his shot volume is just like really high as of late as well, too. He's got 52 shots on the year. Sorry, Cousins has yeah, he has 15 points, excuse me, in 21 games played. So, um, again, like that's solid production. And he's playing second line minutes. He's shooting the puck a lot. He's got 52 shots on the year. Like this is a good player. And I'm surprised his ownership isn't higher, especially in deeper leagues. So I definitely recommend grabbing Cousins if he's available to you guys. And if not, if you need like a winger, for example, I think Jack Quinn's another really good example. He's got 9 points in his last 11 games and he's starting to really heat up now too. It took him a little bit to kind of adjust to the NHL level, and it looks like he is staying in the lineup, which is good news if you guys decide to hold on to Jack Quinn, who absolutely tore it up in the AHL last year. But this is kind of like what I thought with some of these younger guys. It's going to take them a little bit of time to like just adjust and get used to the NHL. But Quinn, again, like 9 points in his last 11 games, really good schedule this week. If you guys need to pick up a winger, he doesn't have that high of a shot volume, but again, like he's starting to produce and he's got 4 power play points in the year as well too. So I definitely recommend grabbing Jack Quinn. Cousins, another note on Cousins, I just remembered. Sorry, he's on power play 1 now, which is really really good. Um, so I like Cousins is a clear cut choice for me for this week as a streamer. Luke Kunin is really a good. He's really really good utility player because he gets a lot of shots and he gets a lot of hits. Really, the only concern with Kunin is his plus minus, given the fact that San Jose is like not the best team, but like he just does so much from like a peripherals perspective that like I'm perfectly fine with picking him up and streaming him this week, especially in the later end. Like you can get him for the back to back on the third and the fourth at the end of the week if you need to player. Same thing with Cop too, right? Like these are good utility guys to kind of pick up in the latter half of your guys' week if you guys do need some help in the peripherals. Moving on to defenseman, we have a lot of good utility options here for you guys. Ben Sherratt is an absolute hit and block machine. So if you guys count those two categories, really good option for you guys this week. You get him 4 times, 3 of which are on the off days. So you're going to be able to play him. Shoots at a fairly decent rate. Like he has some games where he's hit 6 shots, 4 shots, but he's usually around that 1 to 2 to 3 area. So don't expect a lot of shot volume out of him. He's also playing power play 2. Sorry, he's not playing power play 2 anymore because Philip Hronek's there. Who, if you guys haven't picked up, definitely go pick up Philip Hronek. That guy's on an absolute heater right now. Again, plus minus kind of a concern here. He's had a couple games where he's like been -3, but like solid peripheral option as well. Andre Miller is another really good option just because of, you know, he hits every category. He plays over 20 minutes a night. He doesn't get power play. He does get power play 2 time. He splits with Trouba actually. They're both on the back end on that second power play unit. And he just like he chip in a couple points here and there. Won't hit as much or sorry, he won't block as much as say Sherratt does, but he does hit quite a bit and he does shoot the puck like once or twice a game as well. So if you guys like, these are guys that you're just getting into your lineup for free this week. So it's good to kind of chip in different peripheral stats and stuff like that. His plus minus is obviously much better due to the fact that he's playing on the Rangers, but so I wouldn't expect too much in terms of production out of Miller, but he could chip in a couple power play points this week. Who knows? He's got 4 games. So again, a really good streaming option for you guys, 20% owned. Him and Sherratt should be pretty solid. Matthias Samuelsson, excuse me. This guy's actually kind of nuts. If you look at, he's only played 8 games. He has 20 hits and 19 blocks in that game. So this guy is a peripherals machine as well. Doesn't shoot the puck at all. He's got 12 shots. I mean, 12 shots in 8 games is not bad for a defenseman, but he's an absolute hit and block machine. And like, you know, playing around a decent amount of time a night. Like it's not anything crazy, but he's been up in the 19-20 minutes mark in the past 3 games. So this is like a good indication that, you know, you're going to get exposure, that he's playing on the ice. He's not like in the bottom pairing or by any means getting like 10-15 minutes a night. Like he's going to be playing. Plus minus has actually not been that bad. Only twice in his 8 games, he's been a minus. But yeah, just a block and hit machine. So if you guys need those peripherals as well, definitely check out Matthias Samuelsson, is a name that I definitely wouldn't be saying or thought I'd be saying this week, but really good option for you guys. 1% owned, really good in deep leagues. Cam Fowler, guys, I talked about it last week, and he's just such a good option. Like, again, Anaheim plays 4 games this week. He's a power play 1 defenseman with a really high shot volume at 15%. And it's just a no-brainer to me. Like, you can stream him in the latter half of the week, like the 3rd and the 4th, if you need, or if like one of your defensemen got hurt by any means. Like say for example, you had Riley and you weren't able to snag like Sandin in time, for example. I still think Cam Fowler is a really good option. He didn't produce as well. Like he had a couple points this past week, but Didn't get any power play points, which was unfortunate, but he has still a really high shot volume. So definitely pick up Cam Fowler if you guys haven't already, or if you guys just need a solid defenseman. He's 15% owned. It's pretty readily available to you guys. All right, guys, finishing up with goaltending for the week. We have 3 goaltenders that all have the same, or all have a similar matchup on a similar day. So I'm going to let you guys decide. There are a couple things here. Number 1, Halak probably has the best matchup on the 3rd of December, which is against Chicago. He's been very, very bad as of late, though. Like, he hasn't had a win in 5 games. So I wouldn't be surprised if you guys didn't pick up Halak this week. But again, I really like the matchup against Chicago. We know Chicago's a really bad team, and the Rangers are a good team. So again, that kind of favors Halak. It's a guaranteed back-to-back. You know 100% he's going to start. Now, moving on to Brian Elliott, he doesn't play on the 3rd, and he's the only goaltender that I recommend, and that's at the very beginning of the week, which is the Monday. And Elliott hasn't been great either as of late, but it's a good matchup against Buffalo where, you know, it's a divisional team, and Tampa should likely win that game. And you know it's an off night, and you know he's going to start. I would be shocked. I'm going to go out and say that. I would be shocked if Tampa Bay was like, yeah, we're going to start Vasi against Buffalo, and then we're going to keep Halak we're going to keep Elliott for Boston on the back-to-back. So I'd be very surprised at that point. I think Halak's going to start on the Monday, and then Vasi's going to start against Buffalo on the Tuesday, which is their back-to-back for the week. Moving on to Akria Schmid. I can't wait to get roasted for that in the comments. I probably butchered his first name. Honestly, I think it's Schmid. I'm calling him Schmid. All right, guys. 14% owned. He's been an absolute stud as of late. He's got a 957 save percentage on the year, which is ridiculous. Jersey's just an absolute wagon right now, and they're gonna play Philly this week. So again, their week is very spread out. They have the Rangers. They have the Rangers on the Monday, which I'm assuming Vanacek's going to play against. And then they have 2 days off, and then they play Nashville on the 1st of December, and then they get Philly on the 3rd. So big kind of gap in between the start of their week and the latter half. But I expect Schmid to at least start one of those games, whether it's against Nashville, whether it's against Philly. Fingers crossed it's against Philly. Should be a good win for the Devils there to kind of finish off their week. So Schmid's a very, very safe pick just because of how good the Devils have been. So it's really dependent on what you want to do. And then finally, we have Philip Gustafsson, who sees another good matchup against Anaheim. So we have 3 goaltenders that all play on the 3rd. So if you guys, it's actually, you know what? It's weird because they play Dallas on the 4th, and Minnesota doesn't start their week until the 1st. So, like, they all have games on the latter half of their week. Like, they have 3 days off, and then they play Edmonton, have a day off, and then they go back-to-back Anaheim and Dallas. So, I'm expecting Gustafsson to play one of those games. He's been solid. He's got a 917, and, like, Minnesota they've been a decent team this year. They're 500 right now, 9-9-2. But I expect Gustafsson to start against Anaheim there. So it really depends on who you want to go with your matchup. If you don't like one of your starting goaltenders matchups on the 3rd, I definitely looked at Brian Elliott. I think he's the best option. There was a lot of back-to-backs for this week that had goaltenders that were either terrible or just like weren't, in my opinion, worth streaming. Like Chicago has a back-to-back to end off the week. Anaheim has a back-to-back to end off the week. And then you've got Detroit that has a back-to-back to end off the week, and they play Columbus. And I really wasn't comfortable with recommending Nedeljkovic just because of how bad he's been this year as well. So those are probably your 3 best bets. Depending on your guys' starting goaltenders, you guys can always adapt to that. But goalies are hard, guys, throughout the week. It's difficult to find low ownership goalies that have good matchups, or high ownership goalies that are actually performing. So that's gonna do it with this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, guys, make sure that you leave a comment down below. Like I said, who is the player that has just absolutely killed it for your team so far in this fantasy season? Who's the best player on your team? Who's the player that you are happiest that you've drafted? I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next video.